A lot has happened since my last Dragster update, and I am here to fill you in on everything we know as of now, including a new possible footer that is located behind the coaster's restaurant. And what does that mean for the height of the potential spike, if that really is going to be a footer? And why I think we need to keep our eyes on the 500-foot tall mark more and more if that really is a footer. All of this and more, so let's get into this. My name is Brandon, and welcome to Theme Park Predictions. Now I really want to know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you about this whole Dragster reimagining? Be sure to let me know in the comments. I have a lot to cover today, and I'm very excited to be making yet another new Dragster update. And this update would not be possible without Lake Erie Lifestyles on YouTube. So be sure to go check them out because they post like daily or weekly updates of the whole Dragster area. So you're not going to want to miss that. First up, if you take a look at the giant triangular footer that I first shared to the coaster world on March 27th of 2023, you can see by now it appears that they're covering it with gravel and maybe some wood, which is kind of odd because why would you cover this whole thing with gravel instead of cement? But I guess what we don't know is what's underneath the gravel. Is it possible for Cedar Point to already have poured the concrete for this? And since it's only been over a week since my last update on Dragster showing you this giant triangular footer as you can see here, I highly doubt that the concrete would have hardened if they really did fill it with concrete. So I'm definitely confused as to why Cedar Fair is doing this. Now I'm not in the construction business, I'm in the speculation and prediction business obviously. So if anyone has any insight as to why Cedar Point would fill this giant potential footer with gravel, please let me know in the comments, because I'm a little bit confused, as I'm sure most of us are at this point. And as you can see, it appears to be like giant wood planks laying on top of part of the gravel. And I honestly think maybe this is for like the crane to be on top of it. That way the crane would have better traction as it moves over this giant triangular footer or whatever this thing's gonna be. Which tells me that we might not see any vertical construction on this spike or whatever this is gonna be on Cedar Point's opening day. Because if you remember, on my previous video, I shared my thoughts as to why the park removed some sections of track of Iron Dragon. This was mainly for the construction of the footer and the spike. But since Cedar Point's covering it with gravel, could they be trying to hide it from us? Because when you ride Iron Dragon, you're definitely gonna see this. But the only thing that I do not like about that idea is it seems like it's a lot of work for Cedar Point to cover up this giant footer just to take everything out of it and pour concrete in it in a few months from now. So I really don't think that's what they're trying to do, but again, who knows? But knowing what we know now, I'm kind of leaning towards no vertical spike construction until later in the year, and I really wish there'd be something there for us to see on opening day, but we might just see some giant footers or potential footers. Now I have seen a lot of comments saying that this giant triangular shaped pad is going to be for the queue line, and while I do feel as if part of the queue line could be placed on this is a very odd shape for a queue line, and it's not that large. So therefore, I'm like 99.999% that this is going to be for a support for the new coaster. After studying these aerial images, as you can see here, I have a new observation, and that is the bleachers are still intact. And I feel like if they were going to get removed, Cedar Point would have already done that by now. Which leads me to this prediction. If the new launch features a bunny hill of any kind, then it's not going to be located directly in front of the bleachers. And the main reason why is you're not going to want to look up at the giant bunny hill, or whether it's 40, 50 feet off the ground. It is kind of pointless to have bleachers there if you're looking up at this giant ride. Therefore, if the new launch is going to feature a bunny hill of any kind, then this is the location that I can see it being placed in. I just do not see the bunny hill being placed directly in front of the bleachers. Now, if you are planning a trip to Cedar Point, then you have to check out my Cedar Point Ultimate Guide. You will learn everything you need to know about this place, including when the best time to visit, where are the best restaurants, what's the best time to ride Steel Vengeance, where to stay, and how many days you need. You are going to find over 100 different tips that's going to enhance your Cedar Point experience. And you can find a link for that video in this video's description. But now it's time to talk about this new potential footer, because I am very intrigued by this, mainly due to the placement of it. Because as you can see, this also appears to be in a triangular shape, but it's located directly behind Coaster's restaurant, which is pretty far away from the original main footer that we covered last week. In fact, it appears to be around 265 feet away from the main triangular footer. So what does that mean? I really want to know your thoughts, but the only thought I can really think of is I don't see the coaster's layout being extended this far. So if this is really a footer, then possibly it's for the base of the support that's going to connect to the spike in some way. But the only thing I don't really like about that is that this is going to be one giant support column that appears to have nothing else holding it up, basically looking like what you can see here. So I really don't know if that's going to be structurally sound and would possibly even work at this point. And why would the spike only need one giant support on that side of it? Which leads me to, could we possibly be seeing construction on a new footer located in this area? Because in my opinion, if we do see a footer behind the coaster's restaurant, then I really feel like it makes sense that we see one located somewhere in the Iron Dragon Midway. And before I share with you exactly why this is so important, if you're planning on going to Cedar Point opening day, be sure to come say hi to Matt and I, because we're going to be streaming live from the construction site of Dragster from 10 a.m. until 11 a.m. The first hour of the park is open. This way, everyone's going to see exactly what the park is doing on the whole Dragster area. And if you are wondering what I'm going to be wearing at Cedar Point on opening day, just look for me wearing my Baby I'm Ready to Go t-shirt that you can find in the merch store. They come in red, black, and white, and I also offer hoodies and other great merch items. But the best part is, all my coaster merch I designed myself. And you can find the link for that in this video's description. So why is this potential footer that's located behind coasters so important for the spike? As I mentioned, this footer, if it is a footer, is located 265 feet away from the original base of the giant footer that I shared with the Coaster World on March 27th. That's a long ways away. And if we see another footer be located in this area here, then we are looking at a giant support structure that I firmly believe is going to be a part of the spike that's going to go up to 500 or more feet. With my Dragster predictions, I've been pretty conservative when it comes to the height, saying I think it's going to be around 400 feet or a little bit taller, but knowing where these footers would be placed if they are footers, this definitely changes everything. And if they really are footers for the spike, then I do feel as if that spike could definitely go over 500 feet. Now that you know all of my thoughts, I would love to know your thoughts. Do you really think this will be a footer? And if so, how tall do you think the spike is going to go? You guys know what to do. Be sure to let me know in the comments. I love reading every comment and I try to like each one. And with all of that said, thank you so much for watching. Remember to smile today, think positive, and of course, keep riding coasters.